Welcome back to Game Galaxy, and I'm super excited that it's finally October. It's that special creepy time of year as Halloween approaches us, and as long as I can remember, I've had a tradition where I play through Doom 1 and 2 during the month of October. And I've done this for so long, I can't remember when I originally started this, but I've always played it on the PC. And this year, I thought I'd do something a little different. Last year I was able to pick up the PlayStation 1 version of Doom in the wild, and I was super excited. And I'm really excited to play through it this year on the PlayStation. So as you can see, it says the custom PlayStation edition right there. And there's been a few graphical enhancements such as colored lighting in this, which I'll talk about in a moment here. But super excited. I just started playing this last night, and I beat the equivalent of what would be the first chapter in Doom 1, knee deep in the dead. So I'm really excited to see this to the end. This was released on November 16th, 1995, and was built upon a modified version of the Doom engine that was created for the Atari Jaguar port. The first and biggest standout feature of this game is that it has colored lighting in different sections, and that's a really cool feature, and some sections have been darkened considerably from its PC counterpart. Another cool feature about this version is that they've taken the Ultimate Doom and Doom 2 and combined them together onto one disc, so you're essentially getting two games. And this is great because the levels will load in one seamless succession after one of another. So if you were on PC and you beat the first episode of Doom, you know, the text comes on the screen and it tells you a little bit of the story, and then to continue you have to go to the main menu and load the next episode. This will just keep loading the levels one after another, and that's really great because it keeps the seamless flow and you get to keep your weapons. So that's awesome. Some levels are missing entirely, and the geometry of these levels have changed, which I assume is either a hardware limitation of the PlayStation or the Atari Jaguar, which this port is based off of. There should be a pit here with toxic waste at the bottom, but you can see it's a flat surface now. The controls are customizable to any way you like, but the default works good for me. You move with the D-pad, and the left and right triggers are your strafing. Alternatively, you could hold X and press left or right on the D-pad to strafe, but that's not ideal. Using the shoulder buttons to strafe mixed with the D-pad can give you that circle strafe mouse and keyboard feel. You shoot with triangle and action is circle. L2 and R2 cycle your weapons, and select will toggle the map. So far in my playthrough, I have not experienced any slowdown or frame rate drops, and I'm playing on the difficulty Hurt Me Plenty, so there are plenty of enemies present. Some enemies have been removed from the game entirely, though again my guess is for hardware reasons. There are no arc vials in the game, and to me that's a blessing because those dudes can really cause some trouble. Unfortunately, this game does not have a save feature. It has a password system instead, but that's still better than nothing, and you can just jot it down before you start the next level. If you happen to die, you can just start the level over, and in this version you get to start with all your weapons again that you started the level with, so that's a welcomed change for me. Multiplayer was also included, but to do multiplayer you're going to need two PlayStations, and you're going to have to link them together with the PlayStation link cable, and that's how you'd be able to do Team Deathmatch. And speaking of Deathmatch, Doom practically coined the term and made it what it is today. A big change that I absolutely hate is that the original music has been stripped out of the game, and it's been replaced with these very dull and droll soundscapes and drones. And some people really like it and say, ooh, it adds to the scariness and the isolation. And I'll admit, sometimes it does make me a little more tense or something, but on the other side, it gives more chance for it to just become boring. And no offense to the composer Aubrey Hodges, but I just feel like this was a lazy afterthought, that maybe the rights couldn't get worked out with Robert Prince's music, so they were just like a lazy afterthought to do this. Here, I'm gonna play a little sample. Pretty dull and boring, right? You know, in fact, I can make some PlayStation Doom music myself. Come on, let's do it. So here we are, I've got my keyboard set up, and I'm going to be playing some sounds that are inside my keyboard and in my sound collection. here in my recording setup. So let's go. Let's make some PlayStation 1 Doom music. You ready? Here we go. Alright, sure. Let's try something else, right? Okay, here we go. There we go. That's my point, right? Ridiculous. I could have been a PlayStation 1 Doom composer. I just much prefer the driving rock music as I blast away the hordes of hell. Now I'm really excited to continue playing this and see it through to the end on this version as I've never done it before. If somebody, and I don't know how it's possible, if somebody out there has not played Doom, man, you owe it to yourself to play Doom in some form and get educated about first-person shooter history. You can get it anywhere, but a few cool ways to do it on PC. The version I've used a lot is called Doom 95, which was a port of it made by Microsoft when Windows 95 came out. They were trying to promote Windows 95 as a viable gaming option, and actually the port was on the team was Gabe Newell from co-founder of Valve and overlord of Steam, so that's cool. There's also a myriad of source ports where one of them being Doom Legacy I enjoyed a lot. You were able to render the Doom graphics with OpenGL or other things like that. But if you have an original copy, you can run it through DOSBox. You can get it on Steam. It's just going to load it through DOSBox for you. Or probably the easiest way to play it, I have it here, is on the Doom 3 BFG edition for PlayStation 3 and also Xbox 360. Doom 1 and 2 come right on the disc, and that's really great because the controls are awesome. It's mapped to play like a modern shooter with the dual sticks. So that's probably the easiest and best way to play the current Doom, the old Doom, in my opinion. So go check it out and get in the trenches and go blast away the hordes of hell.